Right.
Just about lost my balance.
Last one. There you go.
This is a much used in the Nutnfancy project Aimpoint red dot sight, specifically the Comp ML3 2 MOA version. This is the same sight you've been seeing off and on in front of the TMP camera for over 3 years now. And yes, I still love it. In fact, I love most of Aimpoint's red dot sights. Even with all the competition these days, I think they remain a standard of measure for the type. Here's the upsides, stuff I've said before in TMP. They are waterproof, sometimes to an impressive depth, depending on model. They're dustproof, thanks in part to the included rubber dust caps, which are easy to use. They snap securely. Awesome. I love that rotational rheostat. This is the best on and off method of any red dot sight I have ever seen. It's tactile, it's easy to know where you're at, whether you're cold, you have gloves on. Kind of foolproof. Also tied down with that rubber strap is the battery compartment. They're lightweight, around 7 or 8 ounces depending on the model. They are an awesome sight, and they're very reliable and rugged. I have yet to see one fail in the Nutnfancy project from my own or any crew member or visitor to TMP. There is a significant downside though. Couple actually. One, some models like this one do not include a mount. Not so great. That's going to be added cost, especially if you go with something high end like this LaRue M68. Lots of great alternatives these days, by the way. And this is probably the most important one. It's a lot of money. Around $400 to $500 depending on the type. Actually, it could be less than that, maybe $350 to $500 depending on the type and model. That might be just too much coin for your systems as you're trying to get ammunition, maybe buy a gun. This is a Bushmaster AR-15 this one's riding on top of. Maybe you want some BUIS. I mean, on and on the list goes. Things competing for your system's dollars. Here comes a great alternative. You've been seeing it in the Nutnfancy project lately, riding on top of the excellent kel-tec Sub 2000. Welcome to the Nutnfancy Tabletop Review Vortex Strikefire red dot sight. This is a great alternative to the Aimpoint. It is not the same quality, however, as the Aimpoint. It's close though, very close. The details go something like this. First, you get that 30mm tube, so you're getting a wide field of view with the Strikefire. That's awesome. And you get an included mount, which I actually think is relatively high quality. Comes in 2 different elevations. This one is the AR-15 mount. Here's the box. You can see the catalog number right here. Extra high ring mount, and it's also available in a low mount if you want to put it on top of a carry handle or another application. Less money to spend. I love it. You're going to kind of see a value formula with the Vortex optic here, and actually in a lot of the Vortex offerings. I love that company. So love the ring. It puts the center line of the red dot's scope right at perfect AR-15 level. That is 1.46 inches above the base height, which incidentally co-witnessed the sights on the Sub 2K without me having to do anything to it. That's pretty awesome. Also, it's waterproof. Is it waterproof to go swimming in the ocean? I kind of doubt it, but for all reasonable applications, I think you'll find the Strikefire adequately waterproof. It's O-ring sealed, nitrogen purged, and they say that the temperature range is a -40. That's pretty impressive actually, and we've shot in the cold, as you've seen in TMP, all the way up to 140 Fahrenheit. Okay, so we got a good thing going on. How about the weight? Well, it keeps on going on. 7.2 ounces, so basically the same exact weight as the Aimpoint, depending on model, of course. That's a reasonable weight for a zero magnification optic. But wait, there's more. It's not actually zero magnification. Included with it is this 2-power magnifier. Huh. Okay, yeah, we're getting a lot for our money with a Strikefire. You sense that? I kind of think, I gotta be honest, that this 2-power magnification, I put it in this bag and I always label it because I got so many items I have to keep track of, is a little bit hokey. Sorry. Anytime I have to screw something on, I can get moisture in between, I can get condensation. The quality on the magnifier is, not great. But it comes with a package. It's about 2.2 ounces. You might want to run it, see if you like it. If you don't like it, just like me, don't run it. And it is included, so that's pretty good value. It is also, and I love this, not a huge red dot. I hate those. That's one reason I'm running that ML3 with a 2 MOA. It's very precise. If you need more brightness or you need to see it quicker, just crank your, your brightness level up. This is a 4 MOA dot. I can't really twist it to show you. Just take my word for it. It's adequately precise. It's not the biggest, it's not the smallest, but it's in the ballpark. I would really like it to be 2 MOA if it was up to me. And the cool thing about the Strikefire, I need to twist it around again, is you can actually change the color of the dot by pressing the power switch. You can alternate between red and green, and unlike some other, higher value red dot sights, it does not change point of impact. I've used some other ones where you switch between the colors, maybe change the reticles, you're twisting it and it's changing 0 all over the place. Garbage. Avoid those, by the way. The adjustments are easy. You've got 100 MOA of adjustment. I found, incidentally, that it was pretty much right on the money as I slapped it on top of this quad rail on the sub 2K. Interesting. About $150, guys. There's your value. That's decent. You might get it for less. Cheapest I've seen it is about 135. But dudes, I mean, you're talking like, I don't know, 1/3 the price of that Aimpoint or an EOTECH. Yeah, the Strikefire is doable, and you got the included mount, especially if you're slapping it on top of a flat top AR-15. Well, everything's not perfect though. Here comes some downsides. I'm keeping it real like I always do in the project. First, here's your power switch. So you press and hold it to turn it on. I got no problems with that. You turn it on, great. However, while I was running it in the subgun drill that you just saw in TMP, I accidentally hit this switch right here. Didn't even know it. That's your night vision switch. In bright sunlight, your dot will disappear. You might think your sight failed. That's what I thought. I wasn't really super familiar with it during the, I was testing it. Just hit it again, the sight will come back. That's NV. I think Vortex should do something to hide this button because it is so out there and easily pressed. Okay, kind of a bummer. The UI, that is user interface. We don't have that rotational rheostat, which I really, really love. It has more of kind of an EOTECH interface on it, which I don't prefer. That's because I kind of got to press it and make sure I'm getting what I pressed for, as opposed to rotating a knob and getting a click. So this is your brightness level, and by the way, in NV mode, you have 2 brightness levels, one up, one down, you'll see it. And then if you don't like NV mode, again, just press the switch, it goes back to daylight mode. And you can just go up and down. How is the brightness level? I wish, this is kind of a minor down point, I kind of wish it was a little bit brighter. It is a CR123 based unit. That is a good power cell to run it on, as opposed to a button battery, which we've seen before. Here comes an ADCO red dot sight. It's a good red dot sight, high value. I Duracoded it. However, it's not quite bright enough because it runs, I think, a 2032 button battery. Same thing could be said with, the awesome, still awesome, Bushnell TRS-25. This one is in a bag, pre-zeroed for an SGL-31 on a mount Duracoded. Ready to rock and roll for CQB. That's a great sight. I just wish it went a little bit brighter, but the power source won't prevent it or permit it. So I wish it would go a little bit brighter. However, in bright daylight, most of the crew members here in TMP really didn't complain about it too much. In bright snow, though, maybe 1 or 2 more levels of brightness would be awesome. Talked about the accidental NV actuation problem. And finally, this is a minor downside. The caps are a little bit hard to seal in this example. You really got to press down. I think once you do that, you're in business. You can see I'm pressing this one. They're not like an Aimpoint. I told you the quality, not quite there. And yes, it is made just like pretty much everything in China. So if you don't like that, look far and wide for a US made optic and get ready to pony up some more dollars. See, that sucker's still not on there. Look at that. I really got to snap that down. Actually, I'd rather have it this way than the other way, and that is that they're so loose they just keep popping open. So maybe not such a huge downside. In my estimation, and in my use and testing, which actually to this point has been extensive, the Vortex Strike Fire red dot sight is a bargain. Total bargain. It's almost as good as an Aimpoint for all practical purposes. Now, if you're a US Navy SEAL, LE, or you're going to be banging around in an armored vehicle, I probably would not go for the Strike Fire. I would pay the money and get something higher quality and tougher. But it's a great option, and that is the Nutnfancy Old School Review. See ya.